So it is Monday. I had my oat bake left over, and so I just like put it in the freezer because it was about to go bad. I'm microwaving some frozen fruits because it's a low activation morning, and I have a meeting with my professor at 10 a.m. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna speed finish up yesterday's material. And the thing is, I mentioned in my vlog the other day, yesterday, like get through it 100%. Like know it 100% before you say yes. But there are times when there's a time crunch, which is honestly most of the time in postgraduate school. There's always a time crunch. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go through it as fast as I can, write it down as many times as possible, and then just move on to drilling, because eventually in drilling, I will be able to learn what I missed. As you guys know, I'm in stage 2 of the learning process, which is memorization and internalization. And this evening after work, I'll be at stage 3, which is application. And that's the most important. I will be doing application as I do laundry, my worst nightmare. I absolutely hate laundry. And in the mornings I get a little anxious. So I sweat a little more because I'm stressed about the day, which I think is part of life right now because I have such a high stress life. I have an exam for accounting and I have law school. So those are both very stressful things. So I'm trying to give myself grace. And so I'm going to do a speed study round. It is now 8:33. So that gives me about an hour and 15 minutes, including transportation time, to go through the methods and through finish up my T account setting, and then Quizlet. If we don't get to it, we don't get to it. I went through it last night at least, and so that's a win in itself. And I may have to do Quizlet sometime next weekend as well. So it's just working with yourself. It can be very stressful sometimes when time is so limited, but I can do it. Yeah. I'm gonna get to studying as I eat my breakfast and take a deep breath. Yeah. So I finished up the T accounts, and I'd like to note that with more sleep, I was able to process things that I didn't know yesterday. So since I was able to sleep on it, I actually knew more than I thought, and that took me about like half hour, 15 minutes to half hour. So yesterday was really hard because it was very right brain material that requires you to just know it. And now I'm going on to conceptual like methods, and so hopefully that will go faster. I'm just gonna go through it one round, and then I'm gonna go to my Quizlet because it is 8:55 and I need to have time tonight for drilling. So yeah, today I'll be working 11 to 4, and then like 4 to 10-ish, 11, I'll be doing drilling of chapters 1 through 10. And I'm just gonna drill. And then I can reference these methods when I don't know them. Because these methods, I innately know them. Unlike like formulas, you can't really just like say it in your own words. Formulas, you have to know the dang formula or you're gonna get it wrong. And so that's why it took a while yesterday to learn those, because you just have to straight up memorize. Unlike methods, you can learn through drilling. So I mostly know these. I'm gonna just go through them one round with my method of kind of like flashcards. See the vlog, the weekend vlog part 2 for how I do these pretty much in short term. It's treated like flashcards. They're color coded to reference to a specific part of my cheat sheet. And that's helps me reference if I'm confused on it. And if I don't know it, I tab it. And then I treat it as a no if it's tabbed, and then I come back to it. But yeah, we're gonna speed run. So what I am doing right now is pretty much repeating. So we had the big picture, phase 1, right? Stage 1. And now we're doing memorization, internalization. Internalization is seeing the material in different formats. So that's why I do so many different formats. So I have, of course, the flashcard page for methods, formulas, and T accounts, because accounting is very specific. And then I have cheat sheets, right? So that's how I did the background stage. I went through the cheat sheets. And then I have my Quizlet, in which I do flashcards, like actual flashcards of the terms. And I think it's important to see how I'm repeating, because it takes longer for people with disabilities to learn, well, specifically learning disorders, to learn such dense material. So by having it in such different types of fonts and formats, it's being wired in my brain. And since we are on a time crunch, it's 9:14, I'm just tabbing the methods for future reference, but I'm fairly confident that I know these methods. I just don't know the names very well. But if the question gives me the name, I know I'll be able to identify it. And so I think it's important to see how many times I have to repeat the material to internalize it. Because I did study this over the summer as well. And so my goal is to finish up the methods and at least start the Quizlet. But we will see. Probably what's going to happen is I'm just going to get through the methods because it's so dense. Whenever you meet with the professor, it's really important you have your laptop in case you need to reference something and a way of taking notes. So I'm going to be bringing my iPad. I ate my fruit. I'm a little nauseous, so I'm gonna bring my oat bake with me to work. And I'm not gonna film at work because of confidentiality, but I think it's really important that you can realize you can multitask sometimes. So at work, I'm doing a big project, but it's pretty mind-numbing. It's still accounting analysis. I got the gist of it. At first I was like a little confused, but now I get the gist. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna listen to my Quizlet of terms as I am working. I did that a lot in law school. When I would be working on accounting, I would just play torts videos in the background, or civil procedure videos in the background, or contracts videos in the background, because even if it's in the background, your brain is still processing it a little bit. At least you learn one thing without even realizing it, because the more exposure you have to any material, the better. And so I will be playing that. But for timestamp, it's 9:40. I'm gonna go. I called the parking of the school to determine if I would get a ticket, and I'm not. So I'm gonna go park where I usually park. I'll see you after work when I'm doing laundry. But first I get to see my best friend. I'm so excited. I haven't seen her in so long. My sister from another mister. I'm so excited. And every time before I leave, I always ask wallet, phone, keys, wallet, phone, keys, wallet, phone, keys. Because ADHD, short-term memory deficit, it's really easy to forget your wallet. So I'm like, wallet, phone, keys. And I'm like, okay, do I have my laptop? Do I have my iPad? Do I have everything? Okay, time to go. Because there have been times I literally left my civil procedure book at home and I had to come back because I forgot it. Hi, so I just met with my professor and that was one of the most helpful conversations I've ever had. I think in any form of academia, it is so important you advocate for yourself and your needs. I have been upfront with my professors regarding specific accommodation requests, like sitting in the front row due to ADHD distraction. And as the school year comes up, that's like one of the first conversations I have with my professors. I'm like, I need the front row seat accommodation. I need the front row seat accommodation. In undergrad, I had to directly discuss quizzes and exams with my professors because it was not confidential that I had accommodations, but in law school, it is confidential that I have accommodations beyond seating. Testing accommodations are confidential in law school for students, unlike undergrad, where I would directly tell my professors that I need more time on quizzes and I would work with them. What unfortunately happens a lot in undergrad is that like people do not advocate for themselves and what they need. And so they just do poorly on exams, or they don't get double time on quizzes because the professors are uninformed. And that's what happens most of the time. The professors are not malicious. They're just completely uninformed about accommodations. So you have to be your own little advocate. Think of advocating for yourself as a friend in terms of accommodations. But right now, in terms of academia and doing well in school, it's so cold, my eyes watered. In terms of academia, in terms of school, I am meeting with professors who are willing to help me do better. And I think that's a huge component of doing well in school, is knowing you can always do better. It's not impossible. You have to believe in yourself. And she even told me that. She's like, I believe you can do this because I have to get a certain GPA for my scholarship. And she said, I can believe you can do this. Can you? And I was like, okay, I can do this. And so a lot of it is believing you can do something extremely challenging. But by advocating for myself up front and being like, I need to do better next semester, it has been a positive experience talking with her. And she gave me two tricks about reading. And she helped me realize that I'm not very efficient at synthesizing specific cases. And so we'll be meeting on a bi-weekly basis to help me get better at learning the material to a good enough state that I'm going to be perform well on my exams to keep my scholarship. Okay, hi guys. I just finished work. Yes, I got a sticker. Don't question it. And I'm gonna get a bubbly Diet Coke, eat dinner, and do laundry with my best friend as I do drilling for chapters 1 through 10. Drilling is where I learned the most, and so I really focus hard on it. Okay, hi guys. So it is 6:57. I took some time to get caught up with my friend, eat dinner, start my laundry, and now I'm gonna do some drilling. I'm gonna be doing it in 20 question increments without timing because it's better not to time it when you're first just practicing because it reduces that stress. Since my exam is double time, I think I'll be okay in terms of time. I'll have plenty of time, so I'm not that concerned about it. Right now, I'm just concerned about solidifying my understanding of the material of chapters 1 through 10 through stage 3 of the learning process of application. And yeah, so I'm gonna do those in 20-minute increments, not 20 minutes, 20 question increments, and then take a break after I finish each one and give my all and even read it out loud if I need to. And when I'm doing the question, I write down any key information in my notebook to help me understand what the question has given us. So I write down any given information that I know will be important, and then I use that information in my calculations. Okay, so I just got this question wrong. So a trick I do when I get the question wrong is I use a different color, especially like red or a bright color, to go through what I did and like cross out visually what I did wrong. So then I have the visual in my brain. Oh, doing it this way is incorrect. And then I'll write in red the correct method I used. So I've done about 15 questions and I'm a little tired. There is a calculation-based one that I don't fully remember, and I adjusted my plan to add more time for drilling because I kind of forgot that I have to do drilling on DTA, DTL, leases, and other forms of calculation-based multiple choice. And then I also want to do more essay practice, and since it already is 7:33, I moved that to tomorrow, and then I modified my plan a little more. It is becoming a time crunch, but that's a part of it. I really do want to get these first 10 chapters solidified before I study the next 10 chapters, and I still have time. It's only the 5th. And so, yeah, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go talk to my friend, and then I'm going to get back to drilling. So as a study break, I'm going to fold. Okay, hi guys. So I folded with my friend and now we're getting back to it. There was a question about step down cost method that I genuinely don't remember. I have about 2 loads of laundry left. I folded the first load. The second load is still in the dryer. And somehow laundry helps me study longer sessions because I have to wait till the laundry's done. I'm gonna drink some more Diet Coke because I am tired. It's been a really long day, but I'm gonna keep persevering. I'm gonna time lapse for you guys. It'll help me focus better, but I have to look up step down method because I don't remember it. But yeah, okay, back to work, I guess. Oh, timestamp, it's 8:46. Something about blue pen, I don't know where I saw this, but if you need to memorize something, use a blue marker or blue pen because it helps you memorize it better in your brain rather than a black pen. And so if I need to memorize something, I write it in blue. So I got about 30 questions of drilling done. So that's a win. And I wanted to say 2 things. If you are at the point in drilling where you're just getting it wrong after wrong after wrong, that means it's time to stop and it's time to rest. I don't want to burn myself out the day before because this is a marathon. So you just got to keep pushing, but also know your limits. So I got to the point in drilling where I just kept missing it because I couldn't read the words. And I think it's really important to note that I am stopping. I'm taking the rest of the day to sleep and to finish laundry in reverse order. And so then I think last thing I wanted to say is that at work I did Speechify instead of the Quizlet because the Quizlet wasn't working. And so if you haven't heard of Speechify, it helps me a lot, especially in law school. You upload your document and it reads it to you out loud. You do have to pay, but it helped me for like a cool voice, I guess. I use it a lot in law school because reading is extremely challenging for me. So I saved my Quizlet as a PDF and then uploaded it to Speechify and listened to it as I was doing accounting work. And so I kind of did a double win. And so that was like an hour and a half of audio that I just listened to. And my brain is processing as I am working. But yeah, I don't want to get too exhausted because tomorrow I will be doing more drilling for chapters 1 through 10 as stage 3 of the application process. And then we're going to restart the whole process for chapters 11 through 20. And so that's it for today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.